Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Delicious in Dungeon. Last time around we had Sea Serpent, where basically we took a little detour of who we were following, basically, and we caught up with Kabru and his gang, who, they started to piece things together about the Totem party, and piece together that, one of them must be missing and things are going awry, and we learned that Kabru has a very poor opinion of Laios and Fallon, which is interesting. And at the end, they actually met up with Shuro, who's still looking for Fallon, and so it seems that Shuro's party and Kabru's party are teaming up. And then at the end, we cut back to Laios and the gang, and they are lost within the castle town. So, yeah, things aren't going well for them, but yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure, so let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Delicious in Dungeon. Here we go. Oh, good grief. Well, buddy, they're getting better, They went and looked for an herb, and they got a good meal out of putting some meat in your lap. And, and Laios is getting better with magic. So that's something. He's perhaps getting over magic sickness. I gotta say, I really like the idea of someone with a different class, basically. Laios is a warrior, Senshi is a dwarf, but that's just his race, honestly. Chilchuk being the sort of tools / locksmith expert guy. I guess you might classify that as thief in D&D. I don't really know. I have never played D&D, so I am unfortunate. I must recuse myself from specifically naming what each of these are, but still, it's like I like the idea of them sort of learning different things from each other. I mean, which we kind of had already with the episode where Chilchuk was disarming all those traps and stuff, and Senshi was like, "Oh, well, why don't you teach me some of that stuff, and then I'll teach you some stuff about cooking." I guess for Senshi it would just be cook. His race is dwarf, but his role is cook. I guess that's pretty obvious. But he can also fight too, But I like that. I like that idea, and the fact that it's like, Fallon is a mage, so it stands to reason that her brother would also have some inclination towards magic as well. So I like that he, obviously he's not gonna replace. He's not going to replace Marcille as mage, but if they actually learn some stuff, they can, be a bit more useful, if they're not just solely relying on her for healing and stuff like that, So that's interesting. I like that. I like branching out and doing things outside of your, specific D&D class, It's like it would be cool to see that on free run or something, there's no when you really stop and think about it, it's there's no reason that Stark couldn't use some form of magic. He's, as far as we know, it's not like he's like Asta in Black Clover. He just has no magic. It's he just is a warrior. He has this super freakish strength, but he could probably learn a bit of magic, just like a healing spell. Boy probably needs, because he could beat up a lot, so. And it would be cool to, it would be cool if, maybe Freerun and Fern knew a bit of, how to handle themselves in a fight. Even though they have their magic, it's it would be good maybe to kind of build up a bit of strength, so. Yeah. I don't know. Do I talk about other shows too much in this show? Sometimes I think about that when I'm doing these videos. It's do I talk about other shows too much sometimes? But I mean, it's in relation to this, and I get the feeling most of you have seen Freerun, and if you haven't, it's pretty easy to understand what the hell I'm talking about, So the basic thing is I like that. I like that idea of Laios actually learning a bit of magic, you know? So, and you just got to get past the touch, you know? Sometimes, you know, you're with a bro, you just got to touch the nipples and it not be a weird thing, you know? But yeah, so, but it definitely this note that I have here. So I don't know if you know, but I write down all my notes as like bullet points. So for the first one, I just put bullet point food / dryads / pollen. It's just how I take these notes, you know, relatively quickly. So I'm not writing down like super long things. I just, you know, I hit bullet points basically. And that's what helps these discussions is, you know, I look down at my notes and I see, you know, just the general things of what I need to talk about. So, but for this one, this was a very long note because this actually went for 2 lines basically, but I put all in the same bullet point: learn magic / sex / chilchuck / touch / infinity / sickness. Which kind of goes all over the place, I will admit. You know, not all my notes are the greatest things ever. Like, sometimes I look back on, like, you know, 3 or 4 notebooks ago, and I look at my notes, and I'm like, what on earth do any of this, you know, what on earth does any of this mean? But yeah, but with this one, it's just like, you know, I basically mixed in, you know, everything with Laios learning about magic, and Chilchuck, unfortunately, learning about sex. So it's funny too because, you know, they in the last episode there were the other half-foots that were like, it's like, oh, you know, Chilchuck, he's getting a little crazy in his old age and stuff, which I think they said he's like, if I remember right, they said he's in like his late 20s or something. But at the same time, to Senshi, which we don't even know how old Senshi is, but to him it's like, oh, you know, you're still a growing boy, and you know your father passed away, so someone's got to teach you the birds and the bees, you know. And it's just like, oh, good grief! I bet he knows the birds and the bees, you know. I mean, it is the funny thing of like, you know, Laios is the leader, but he is the youngest of them. He's probably, if I were to guess, he's in his early 20s. But you know, Marcille is an elf; they live a long time. Senshi is a dwarf. They live a long time, too. Chilchuck is a half-foot. They live a long time, but he's still younger than the two of them. But then you have Laios, the leader of them, but he's way younger than all of them, but at the same time, you know, his lifespan is much shorter than the rest of them, so it's like, I don't know, we're thinking about progress bars, I guess, you know? Granted, even still, if we were going by a percentage of how far they are into their own lifespan, you know? I mean, in all technicality, I'm sure, obviously, Senshi would be still older than the rest of them, but he's not, but that doesn't equate, age doesn't equate to leadership, obviously, you know? So it's interesting, you know? It's interesting, but it was a funny note. Learn magic, sex, and then I just put touch. But touch has nothing to do with sex. I mean, it does have something to do with sex. If it didn't have anything to do with sex, someone would really be fucking up. But the touch was more about, like, sometimes you just gotta touch a bro's nipples. And that's not anything to do with sex. I mean, obviously it can have something to do with sex, you know, but that's, you know, I assume at that point that goes a little bit beyond a bro. Maybe it doesn't, I don't know. Maybe, you know, maybe you're out there, you're a bro, you've got a bro, and you touch nipples just in a bro way, you know. I'm not here to judge, I'm just saying. So, and then there was the Cockatrice, which that name does not help anything, and I'm gonna have to put cock in the title of this episode. So, man. Anyway, are we going anywhere with this? I don't know. So, but good job. They figured out, he figured out some magic and save Marcille from being a stone statue. Which I like that. You know, she got put in this, you know, terrible position, and it's just like, oh, she's completely off balance and everything. It's just like, no, you gotta kind of stay like that because that's a better position to be in. it's a better position to be in as a statue. So, and I assume, I mean, I don't know about the, like, you know, close your ears and, you know, close your mouth and stuff, but one thing I remember, you know, in, like, the beginning of the Castlevania show, where it's just, where Sypha was turned into a stone, when she finally was freed from that, she threw up because all the food that she had eaten, you know, that wasn't digested, it just rotted, and so it was just an immediate just get that out. So yeah, but I'm sure, like, if, you know, you leave your mouth open for 4 days, yeah, I don't think it'd be a thing of, like, drying, because like it would dry out, because obviously she didn't have to eat or drink anything in that stone state. But I mean, I guess there's probably no bugs down here, at least, but I don't know. But still, you wouldn't want to leave your mouth open. You wouldn't want to... I mean, maybe... I'm sure there are people out there, like, if I got turned into a statue, I would like to do the Bill and Ted pose, but still. So, I don't know. But that was fun. A good episode, and I'm curious to see where we are going next time. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my delicious and dungeon reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.